What's up everybody, Bassy Designs here with another episode. Today we're going to show you how to install recessed lights just like these. So what you'll need is quite simple. You'll need the light itself. These are 4-inch LED lights here. You can see what they look like here. They have a quick connect there up top. There's this, which is optional. I don't use it on this setup. Then you have the actual light can itself, which is metal, and it's IC rated, meaning it can come in contact with insulation without any fire hazard. Then in my case, I'm using a 12-2 Romex cable. I bought a 50-foot pack, and that should be enough for this room. Some wire connectors, this size will be fine. Then I have these plastic connectors, which you actually put in the knockout holes here. So it'll hold your Romex wire, we'll show you that later. And then just bigger wire nuts just in case. And then a junction box if you need it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is measure the placement of your lights. There's actually a lot of free software out there that'll just tell you the placement of it. All you do is punch in your dimensions of the room and how many lights you want, kind of like the layout of it, like I want 4 lights or 5 lights, and they'll tell you where to place it, how far apart from the walls to place them, and how far apart from each other you want to place them. So it comes in handy. I'll post a link to one of the free things down in the description below. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out one of these holes here. I already went through the program here on my phone. I already kind of know where we're going, and I'm going to kind of play around with it a little bit too, because sometimes you might have a beam or a joist in the way, so you'll have to adjust. And if you move one hole, you'll have to move the others just so they stay synchronized, right? So in my case, I'm just going 2 feet from the wall and 3 feet away from, well, it depends where I'm at in the room, but I'm going 2 feet away from here. Now there's a couple different ways you could check for joist or any other kind of things that might be in your way before you drill the holes into your sheetrock. First way is coming up into the attic. Luckily in my attic there's not much insulation here, so I can clearly see where the joists are. You just need to drill a little hole up and you can kind of just see if the light shines through or not. A lot of people don't have a case where they can actually come into the attic and check it out. So in cases like that, you can get a stud finder for one, and just make sure that there isn't a stud anywhere near that diameter of the hole. And then the other way is to stick a coat hanger up there with a 4-inch bend and just spin it around in a circle. And if it touches anything, then something is blocking that way. All right, so what you're gonna use to cut out the holes is a 4.5-inch hole saw. And it's really makes everything much simpler than doing it by hand. Protection on this last one. Okay, so what I'm doing now is preparing the light cans for installation. You could do these before you go up in the attic. So you just take off the cover, pull out this extra insulation, and what I'm doing is I'm punching out 2 of the knockout holes on all of the light cans except for the very last light can. That's very important. On the very last light can, you only want to punch out 1 knockout hole because you're only going to have wire coming into it, but you don't need any more wire coming out to it. So to pop them out, just put a flathead screwdriver in there. Pop those out like that. Then you have these wire connectors. They're a little tricky to put in there. There's a couple tabs on there. You'll have to squeeze them. So you can do that with a needle nose, or you can press them with a flathead. And there it is. So it's in there, it's snug. So now once you put a wire through there, which I'll show you later, it won't be able to come out as easily. You're just gonna put another one in this other spot here. All right. So there we go. See, they're in there, they're extending out of here. You have all these quick connects in here. And then again, for the last can here, we're just gonna pop out one of these. Then you're gonna put another connect piece on there, and you can see all of these now are done and ready to be installed. So while we're already here, I'm gonna go ahead and just explain this can a little bit. So you have your wires, one coming in, one coming out, and you just push them into these quick connects here. So your ground wire, your neutral wire, and your hot live wire. So how this works is you'll slip this into the ceiling, and these tabs right here will actually latch on over the sheetrock. So imagine the sheetrock being here. These little things grab onto it, and you just push them upwards, and you can see now it can't come out. And if you push on it a little bit harder with the flathead screwdriver, which we'll go through, it'll grab on even harder. So another thing you can do to avoid doing a lot of work in the attic is to do more planing down here on the floor. And part of that is dropping in the wire from one hole to another. And it's actually quite simple. So here's where my main wire power source is going to be coming from. This is where a ceiling fan was. I'm going to leave this here, and that's where I'm going to tie into it. But for now, I'm just going to drop a wire from that's this length from there to here, and have a couple feet just dangling out so I can work with it. So if we just hold this up, and it could be a rough estimate, I need about this much wire. So now I have that one going there to there, and this runs in a chain-link pattern, or a snake-like pattern. So that's my power source going to the first light, from the first light to the second light. So I'm going to cut that. Now we're going to go from light 2 to light 3. Alright. And then light 3 to light 4. Alright, the preparation is done. Time to go in the attic. And then I have light 3 to light 4. Alright, before you start any actual electrical work, you're always going to want to turn off your breaker. That's just to be safe. So you're going to want to cut the casing on these about 4 inches up or so. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just need a razor blade, put a slice down the middle. There you go. Pull off this insulation. Go ahead and spread them out a little bit. You can see both of them done here. So again, this is my main power source. And this is to from light 1 to light 2. Then, while I'm already up here, so I have a 12-2 wire, so I'm going to use a 12 gauge stripper. You're just going to strip these out. And you're going to do this just about a ½ inch up. Here's the neutral. they're all ready to be connected to the light cans. So now I'm going to do that for all these other holes. I'm going to cut off a lot of the extra wire that's hanging down. That's it. Alright, so now you can see all this excess wire here. So I didn't mean to have quite this much hanging out, but I'm going to have to waste some. Gonna go ahead and cut it. You can see where it comes from, over from light 2.
You have enough over there?
Yeah. It's something to think about too. So the light cans go way up there, so you're gonna have another 7 to 10 inches of space, slack. I've connected the first wire to the main power source wire. I'm not gonna go into too many details on that because consult an electrician if you're unsure, but I just connected the black to the black, the white to white, and the ground to ground. And you can see I'm all ready to go. There's light 1, it's all stripped out. Light 2, stripped out. Then I have light 3 here ready to go, and light 4. You can see I just have one wire coming out of light 4, and that's because it's the very last wire. I'm not gonna have a wire coming out of 4 into light 5. There is no light 5 here. So that's it. Alright, so you can see I've already installed light 1 here, and I did that just to test it. But I'm not connecting light 2 to light 1, just for safety precaution purposes. No live wires will be on 2, 3, or 4 yet. So I just wanted to test it, make sure everything was running correctly before I wasted a lot of work. Alright, so starting on light 2. So this is the cable that's coming from light 1, and you can see all this excess here. You can actually pull this light down and it'll pull those cables a little bit tighter. Okay. So I give mine a little bend like that, a little curve, putting it through my wire connector. You can see out it goes. And you want to make it where the casing for the cables goes all the way through. And that's what the wire connector really grabs onto. And it's actually pretty hard to take it out. So if you do mess up, you pretty much just have to cut it and pull it out. Let me get my little bend in there. All right, so I'm gonna separate these. So here's my whites, here's my blacks, and I'll put my neutrals here. Cut myself. All right. So all you're gonna do, it's simple. You just put the white, it doesn't matter which hole you put it in, just push it in there, and you can feel that it's not coming out. This other one, pushed it in, and you can see through this plastic. You might not be able to see it on camera, but you can actually see the wire, the copper wire touching the very ends there. So again, black, doesn't matter which one. Sometimes they are tricky and you need pliers. These are going through pretty well. And there you go. And then you got grounding. Okay, it's that simple. I put a little tape on there. It's not a big deal, you don't have to. They fit in pretty well. I don't have a lot of exposed wires up there, but I do it just because I like to. All right, so then just go ahead and push these in. It can be a tight fit, I get it, but do what you gotta do. Alright, so the benefit of these wire connectors is you can have these dangling without actually connecting them. I haven't connected those wires yet. They're just holding on by the wire connectors. So what I want to show you is the very last light. Light 4 here, right? I only have one wire connector. This is the very last wire that's coming in from wire 3. You just hook it up the same way, but you're going to have one hole that just remains empty, and that's fine. Alright, now time to put these covers on. Just kind of pop on like that. Okay, then just go ahead and slip this up. There you have it. And what you're gonna do next is press a flathead screwdriver up onto these clips. The higher you press them up, the more firm it grabs onto the sheetrock. But already it's good. And then the light itself is gonna cover up a lot of this mess. Now time to install the light with this quick connect piece that it comes with. It's as easy as just pushing it in there. And before you would install it, you can always test to make sure that it works. I already tested it. There you have it, light number 1. Let's turn it on. Go. We got our first light. 3 more to go. So you'll notice that these lights come with this stuff kind of tucked in here. What you do is you take it out, you peel off the sticky side, and you wrap it around the edge here, and it just acts as another kind of insulator between the can and the, for air coming down. You're going to want to put it under these little tabs. Go ahead and push this up. This one may be a tighter fit. Oh, and there it is. Alright, and that's how you install Sunco recessed lights, really how you install any brand of recessed lights. These are just my brand of choice. You can find these in the description below. I get them off of Amazon. They have great reviews. I've used them in a few properties now, and they've done extremely well. We actually have a pack that we've used for over a year, and they're still going strong. So again, this is the video on how to install recessed lights with the light cans. Remember to subscribe if you enjoy some of this content, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.